There are two ways you can live life. One, by learning intellectually, and another way is by learning from life, by understanding life. One thing is knowing the truth intellectually, and another is experimenting and experiencing the truth and life. The greatness of Indian civilization and culture has been the reason when in these 4,000-5,000 years, when all the mightiest of the greatest of the cultures died and perished, Indian culture survived, is because we believed in our inner voice and not the learned behavior which actually sharpens your intellect, but at the same time makes your intellect so clever and so manipulative that you start using your intellect to manipulate everything around you and you start scheming. Whereas we believed in detaching ourselves from this worldly knowledge and to discover the real meaning and the purpose of life, the real purpose of this world, the cosmos, and our relationship with that cosmos. And eventually, all our efforts are towards becoming one. Like Patanjali said in his yoga, that the oneness can be achieved only when Parush and Prakriti become one, which means everything which happens around us, the Prakriti, and our karma, which is Parush. And this is what our great saints and our sages and rishis and swamis and acharya and mahatmas found out. This is the knowledge of Vedas. This is the great knowledge of Gita. So I would rather belong to those wise people and fight with the intellectuals who use the logic and the rationality, which is very manipulative by nature, to create a cultural war in this country so that the younger generations slowly start doubting their own legacy, their heritage, and the great tradition of Vidya. Vidya is about discovering yourself. It helps you detach from the materialistic moha and maya and finds what is your greater relationship, what is your greater purpose with the truth, the ultimate truth. That is the journey of life. And which is why in this country, in this civilization, we have invented some of the greatest sciences like music, theater, storytelling, yoga, Ayurveda, surgery, grammar, all those things which are required to live a good life are sort of invented or discovered or propounded in this great country called India. And India has remained one of the greatest countries, greatest civilizations in the world, supreme number one. In fact, I always say India was the Silicon Valley of the first millennium. All the Oxfords and Harvards and MITs were in India, right from Sharda Vidyapeeth to Kashi Vidyapeeth to all the great universities of India. And which is why, because we were the Silicon Valley, that's why people came to loot us. That's why people invaded us. This is the reason. Nobody goes and invades and loots a poor village. Have you ever heard any dacoit going and looting a poor man's hut? No. They always go and loot and invade the richest person in the town. And that's why they came to India. But they realized that it was very easy to loot the money, but it was very difficult to rule the hearts and the minds of these people who believe in simple living and great thoughts. People who are spiritually so evolved. And that's why they invented this trick of doubt, the trick of illusion. What a magician does, what a hypnotist does. He creates an illusion when something does not exist. And that's why they created this illusion of making Indians believe that they are inferior to somebody else, whereas we were superior, or neither superior nor inferior. We were on a totally different continent, different plane. We created our own universe in which we were seekers, and our only purpose as a society was to seek the truth, to seek that Almighty, to seek the secrets of this cosmos, the universe, and become one. They realized that we, the Indians, our great Hindu culture, discovered the science of thou art that, which means you are that. Which means you have the same energy, which the total energy of the cosmos is the energy in your atom. The entire diversity, the great dynamics, the great power of this entire world was inside us, which means the truth is inside us, the God is inside us, the ultimate, the cosmic bliss is inside us, and therefore our duty is to discover that. Whereas all these people who came to loot us and invade us were running after the materialistic abundance. And that's why they were trying to capture the geographical continents of the world, whereas we were conquering the internal continents of our mind and our heart and our soul. They wanted to know where are gold mines. And we were discovering the spiritual mines of our mind, and by layer, we were exploring the real truth and the science of this world, and which is why we invented astronomy, which is why we invented zero, which is why we invented numbers. So to say that we did not have the scientific temperament was absolutely rubbish. So they invented a trick. They said, create the illusion in their minds that they don't know the science and the logic and the rationale. And it was presented to us in such a way that somewhere the newer generation started doubting themselves. The first fundamental tactic they used against us was creating a doubt. And that doubt led us to kind of an inferiority complex. And the way they exploited it was by altering all our texts and scriptures. As you know, that for the last 70 years, our education system was totally altered and modified. We were taught wrong history. There is nothing we were taught about the greatness of our own culture. We are the only surviving civilization which is so highly evolved in spiritual knowledge, but it is such a sad commentary that in our schools and colleges, in our universities, spirituality is not taught. The great Hindu values are not taught. The indigenous literature and arts and humanities and the beauty of life, they are not taught. We somehow created a job market in which generations after generations we started producing children and conditioning and training their mind and started making them slaves to a colonization first and now slaves of globalization, which is controlled by the corporate greed. And this is not done only by outsiders. This is done by our own people, whom I call urban naxals. These are professors. These are media people. These are bureaucrats. These are researchers. These are authors. There are some spiritual gurus also now, fake ones. And above all these people collectively are called intellectuals. And we were made to believe that never argue with intellectuals because intellectuals know everything. I realized this scam. And therefore I made this movie Buddha in a Traffic Jam to expose this scam. And I wrote this book Urban Naxals to expose this scam. And it's a very dangerous scam because they want to defeat us. They want to destroy us. They want to convert us from seekers who are seeking the spiritual meaning of life. They want us to become materialistically greedy people who keep running on this treadmill of capitalism, and we keep buying their products and keep giving our hard-earned money to them. This is the total plot. This is the scam. And which is why you will find that the newer generations in this country of yogis are turning out to be bhogis, and they keep questioning everything which is good in our society. When the younger generation starts questioning the goodness of the society, which means they have made great inroads. And this is coming from three sides, and they are all united in this war against us. One is the Islamic terrorism and Islamic terror thinking and ideology, not just the guns and arms and ammunition. The second is the red terror ideology, which is coming from communist countries. And both of them are governed by the capitalistic, materialistic greed of big corporate companies who use these two to dominate and subvert our culture. So yes, when you say Kshatriya, it means warrior. Yes, warrior means somebody who is at war, and yes, the war is on. The war is on against India. Because the only country which can now become superpower or which can lead the world with its wisdom and with its enterprise and with its knowledge and understanding of life is India, and they are scared of us. And which is why I decided to fight. Which is why I decided that one has to go to this war. And this great info war, the cyber war or the cultural war, whatever name you want to give it, cannot be fought by the soldiers on the border. It has to be fought by every citizen, and every citizen has to become a Kshatriya and warrior. It cannot be called intellectual Kshatriya anymore. It has to be called Indian Kshatriya. Everybody who is born on this earth, great land of Bharat, will have to fight this war. Otherwise, we will remain, first we were Mughalized, then we were colonized, then we were Congressized, then we were communized, socialized, secularized, and right now we are globalized. Names keep changing, where our masters always remain somebody else, outsiders who are not one of us or who are our enemies. And this is the first time that this awareness has been created. For last 6-7 years, non-stop, I have been creating this awareness and mentoring young people in thousands and motivating, inspiring them, empowering them, equipping them with tools and techniques and tactics to fight these people. And results are showing. They are rattled. They are rattled. So, the first thing to accept is that yes, we are at war. There is a cultural war. And we are not very strong. We are still in an area of doubt. We are operating from guilt complex. Anybody who does not speak good English, it's not that speaking English is a crime. But if somebody speaks in his mother tongue, is made to feel inferior, which means we are living in guilt complex. If some Acharya or Swami says something, we make fun of this person, but the same thing when it is said at Harvard University, we start believing it. We started adopting yoga only when the West started making it fashionable. Today with Corona crisis, the whole world is realizing the importance of immunity. What else is yoga? The entire world is understanding the importance of Sattvic Bhojan. What else is Ayurveda all about? But we believe it when somebody in MIT says, when somebody in Harvard, Yale or Oxford or Stanford or Cambridge says it. When some foreign researcher brings that research. Today I was reading that one of the most expensive drinks these days and most fashionable drinks these days is turmeric latte. What is turmeric latte? It's haldi doodh, which your dadi nani has been giving you to fight cold and cough. But if you ask the new generation to have it, they make faces. Same thing when it is sold as turmeric latte, everybody gets excited, which means we are operating from guilt complex. So, first doubt, second guilt complex, and the third pessimism. यहाँ तो कुछ होगा नहीं. Nothing will happen. There is no future. And that's why every child, once he is in the 10th standard, starts dreaming about going to America or UK or some foreign country and leave this great soil. So these are the three main things: doubt, guilt, and fear. We call ourselves free. We say we are a free country. We say we are a democracy. But actually we are not free at all. Every single messaging in a day on social media, news, television, hoardings, wherever you see, is reinforcing these three things all the time. So our mind is not free. So now, I'll tell you what is this warriorship. What are our arms and ammunition? What are the strategies and the tactics we should use to fight the enemy? Because if you are saying warrior, intellectual Kshatri, so there has to be a war. If it's a war, you have to go to the war and fight. And you have to fight, you have to have a strategy. First, you have to know your battleground. Second, you have to have a strategy. Third, you should have arm and ammunition. And then you should have war tactics which should imply. So number one, you have to know your enemy. So now that we have known that our enemies are three. One, the communist Second, the Islamic terror mindset. And the third, the corporate greed. These are the three big enemies of India today. What is the battleground? The battleground is your mind. This war is being fought in your mind and the minds of your children and your brothers and sisters and your neighbors, everybody. And what are their arms and ammunition? Their arms and ammunition are number one, media, colleges and universities, books, articles, and above all, social media and NGOs. These are the tanks and the fighter planes they have employed to fight against our culture. And what are the tactics they use? What is their strategy? Their strategy is to make your history look good through foreigners' eyes, which means that all the greatness was done by Mughal emperors. All the science and great institutes were introduced by the Britishers. And all the comfort and the convenience of our lives, the malls and the multiplexes and the cars and the highways and everything is coming because of the greedy corporates of the capitalist culture. This is what they have made you believe. Every single parent today in India, almost every parent wants to send their children to convent school. Why? Why every child is given this dream and aspiration to leave India and go abroad? I travel all over the world. I don't find it attractive. These are just buildings and roads. But the hearts and minds are empty. So what we need to do is, we need to first eradicate this doubt. This doubt will go, doubt comes when you are shaky about yourself, when you don't know who you are, where you are standing. When you don't know whether you are standing on earth or on the sky, then you will have a doubt. Doubt comes when your aircraft is wobbling, is going through turbulence. But if you see, you are the only surviving civilization. You are sitting in the greatest of the civilization. During Corona times, we are peaceful. Unlike America and UK, all those countries where looting and rioting is going on because people are so frustrated. We have families, we have friends, families, relatives who are helping each other. Our great parampara of ashrams and Samaj Sevaks are helping each other. We are one of the greatest bound, tied society. We have great literature, we have great arts, great sculpture, great architecture. We have greatness all over, written all over us. We have to make our generations believe in this. So that doubt goes about your own being, about your own existence in the relationship with the entire cosmos. And that's where the warriorship comes. So first, I decided that if I am a warrior, I must tell people about the greatness of this country. In all the thousands of speeches I give, I only talk about the greatness of our country and not the weakness of our enemy. Because if you become enemy-centric, you will become like them. You will become reactionary. And that is the problem with us. So, you can also do this and practice this. It's a little secret. Every single day, before you go to sleep, on social media, Write some greatness about India. Write greatness about our civilization. You are from Chinmaya Mission. Write about the philosophy of Chinmayanandji. Write about the history of your city. If nothing else, write about the greatness of the sacrifice and struggle of your grandparents and parents, how they have brought you up and made you capable and able today to live with respect and dignity. Write about the history of your family. There is no Indian parivar or family which is not full of some great stories. Write about that. Don't be shy, don't be scared. These people are not shy and scared. They have made a god out of Marx, out of Mao and Stalin, to an extent that in India, even some of the greatest politicians keep their children's name Stalin. We have a great leader in South whose name is Stalin. Stalin was the man who killed millions and millions of people. We are the only country in the world which has a political party named after Mao, who killed millions of people. If they can make gods out of villains, out of satans, out of devils, why can't we make gods out of great people? So write about the greatness which you observe in a day in Indian society, about our people, about your family, about your architecture, about your city, about your colony, whatever you see, observe, which you feel good and proud about, write about that on social media, fill this entire universe with so much of greatness about India that slowly it takes over. So destroy them by this algorithm, because today algorithm is the new god. Algorithm believes in one thing: quantity and frequency. How much you write and how quickly you write. So if 10,000 people write between 7 to 9 p.m., so today after this speech, between 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., whoever is watching here, if all of you take the oath and pledge that the minute this event is over, you will go and write about the greatness about something or what you learned from here immediately. If everybody starts writing with one hashtag, algorithm will immediately pick it up and it will start trending everywhere in the world. And like these trends, slowly, that will start becoming your biggest arm and ammunition with which you can fight them. This is my strategy number 1. My strategy number 2 as a warriorship, if you have to be a warrior, if you have to be a Kshatriya, like I said, I don't believe in this word intellectual Kshatriya. I believe only in one word, Bharatiya Kshatriya. The Bharati warrior, the Indian warrior, who's fighting to save his own civilization. So my second tactic is, there is nobody in this world who is not born creative or talented. God has gifted you with one special talent which nobody else has. It can be anything. You can be a speaker, you can be a writer, you can be a painter, you can be a cook, you can be a gardener. If nothing else, you can be a very kind and compassionate person. You can be a helpful person. Maybe you look at the world in a very unique way. Maybe you have a different perspective. There is something about you which is very, very unique and something great about you. I say, use that talent to convert it into a product. Because what these people do, these people create research, they create data, and that becomes the fact. They write books, they create plays, they create movies, they create songs, they create puppetry shows, they create street plays. They keep doing these, they create literature festivals, they keep creating products after products after products, which slowly becomes the grand narrative against India. And therefore, to beat that narrative, we have to create products. And that's what I did. I'll just tell you that in last 5 years, how much I have produced. And I'll just tell you the major things. I made a film against them, against urban nationalism, called Buddha in a Traffic Jam, which became a cult film and changed the political narrative of this country. Then I wrote a book called Urban Naxals. This book became a political battle, and as an impact of that, 5-6 very dreaded urban Naxals who were enemies of India were arrested in Pune, Koregaon, and the Prime Minister and Home Minister of India regularly uses these terms, urban Naxals, and recently White House was also found using this. Then I said we should do something about the storytelling about the greatness of India. So I made one short film called Muhammad and Urvashi, which was about where the entire world believes time moves from A to B. But only we believe that it's cyclical, and we believe in the cycle of karma. To propagate the theory of karma, to teach the millennials about this theory, I made a film called Muhammad and Urvashi, which won more than 40-50 international awards and changed the mind of whole lot of people, got the best of the reviews. Then I produced a web series of 26 episodes of Bharat Ki Baat. I traveled every nook and corner and village of India and brought the greatness of India in that show called Bharat Ki Baat. Then I made a film called The Tashkent Files, where I exposed how KGB colonized India by bribing and buying out the intellectuals and the Prime Minister and the cabinet ministers of India and almost all media. That was startling, shocking. It changed everybody and started a big debate. I made people aware of the enemies of India. Then I started I Am Buddha. It's an NGO, I Am Buddha Foundation, which mentors these small town, middle class, young people, encourages them, gives them tools and techniques, empower them to fight these people and to bring about Indic Renaissance. I alone can't do, but I do my best to contribute this process of Indic Renaissance in the fields of art, culture, music, literature, and primarily humanities. Then I took a world's only and the biggest research on the genocide of Hindus in Kashmir on 19 January 1990. I traveled all across the world to interview the first generation victims, and now I am producing a web series on that, plus a feature film on Kashmir called The Kashmir Files. And recently I realized that media will never talk about the greatness of India, so I started my own channel called VRA TV, in which I am trying to bring about the complex issues of society, which normally nobody tells you, by putting in a lot of hard research and make it simple. I do it every Saturday at 7 p.m. You can check it on my channel, I Am Buddha. And this August, on 15th of August, on the Independence Day, I am launching something called the School of Creativity for Millennials. Because I believe that it is very important, if we have to win this war, we have to channelize the creative energy. I believe the Indian youth is so creative, nowhere else in the world they are so creative, but their creative energy is wasted in stupid political fights. So I realize that we have to channelize their energy and teach them about creative consciousness. To tell them that there are two levels of consciousness. One is a lower consciousness, one is a higher consciousness. And at that higher consciousness, like you have spiritual consciousness, you have supra consciousness, like great Aurobindo used to say. Similarly, there is creative consciousness. When you use your creative consciousness, you become successful. When you become successful, the society becomes successful. And when the society becomes successful, the great nation becomes successful and the humanity becomes successful. That's what School of Creativity is all about. And besides this, I have given thousands of speeches all over the world, be it Oxford, be it Purdue, be it whichever university. In India, I travel everywhere before Corona, and every day, these days also, I am giving speeches And I don't give speeches which are like hollow speeches. I research, I understand, and I try to encourage and motivate people and tell them what is realistically possible to fight these people, and not just like politicians. I don't talk. And I'm non-stop writing articles. Then on 28th of August, my next book is coming, which is about who sold India, exactly the same subject. It's called Who Killed Shastri, which means who sold India, which is about the cultural war. And the book is about what happens when you take out spirituality from politics. This is exactly what happens. You start losing this civilizational war, which we are losing right now. This book emphasizes on the role of tyag and tapasya in political life. And my third book is also coming out next month. It's called The Book of Life. It explains the concepts of life, and primarily the Indian concepts of life, which can help a young person to fight all these terror organizations, the corporate terror organizations, the left communist terror organizations, and Islamic terror organizations. Why I am talking about this, what I have done, if I am a small town middle class person without any mai baap, no godfather, I am not rich, but only I have love for this civilization. I feel very proud about it. And I am a seeker and I am a warrior. And I have taken it upon myself. I believe in the great mantra of Tagore, Akla Chalo Re. Walk alone and the crowd will come behind you. Or my entire journey, if you study, is walking alone. And I'm still producing things. I just don't talk. Problem is, in social media, a lot of people who come across as warriors are just actually tweeting hateful things about another community. That will not take you anywhere. Abusing and trolling the enemy will not help you. It's a total sheer waste of time, your time, everybody's time. You are making yourself weak. You are making the enemy stronger. You have to learn from Chanakya. Every word you speak should be like an arrow hitting the target. By spreading negativity, you are fighting with their strength, because in the war of negativity, they will always be more negative than you, because that is their DNA. You can't fight with a snake with poison. You cannot fight with a dog with barking. You cannot fight a cheetah with running. You cannot fight an eagle with flying. Similarly, you cannot fight the snake of Islamic terrorism and red terrorism and corporate greed with more venom. You cannot. You will lose. So what do you fight with? You fight with your positivity. You fight with your knowledge. You fight with your wisdom. You fight with your greatness. Whenever they say, like in typical Hindi film, whenever they say we have got cars and we have got money and we have got all the materialistic abundance, what do you have? Then you give them this answer. I'll tell you now, and this is the most important message I can give to you. You know that Indians live all over the world, everywhere in the world. People don't trust Chinese. People have problem with African people. People have problem with French people. People have problem with German and British people. They say Japanese are very negotiating. They negotiate very hard. What is the greatest quality of Indians which all over the world people believe in? They say only one thing: Indians can be trusted. Because we are good at heart. We don't want ill of anybody. We are not against anybody. We believe in Sarva Kalyan. We believe in welfare of everybody. We believe the entire world is family, and that's why everybody trusts us. And where do you get this value from? You get this value of trust from your mother. So whenever the world tells you that we have big materialistic abundance, what do you have? You say, we have got mother. मेरे पास माँ है, मेरे पास family है. We have the great legacy. We have the great wisdom. We have the great spirituality. And we have the blessing of our great rishis and sages and the greatest of the people who walk this earth. And never forget, we are the only civilization in the world which has given birth to 4 peaceful religions. What else do we need? So, believe in yourself. Be proud of your heritage. Do research. Learn about it, read about it. Stay away from negativity. Stay away from people who are abusing Muslims or Christians on Twitter all the time. They are more dangerous than your enemies. Please, what I am saying, a lot of people may not like it. But I am a strategic, tactful warrior. I am not an intellectual warrior. I am a wise warrior. I believe in the treatise of Chanakya. I don't believe in the treatise of communists. Please, all these hyper-dharmic people, all these days everybody goes and writes Jai Shri Ram, Dharma, 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 hashtag, and Sanatan, Sanatan they use. These are very dangerous people because they have no knowledge about themselves. They will take you down. Respect Pandits, but beware of Ponga Pandits. So, believe in yourself, be proud of your legacy, do research and create products, books, articles, research, speeches. Do something. If nothing, make YouTube videos. Just shoot something and put it on Instagram. Create products which will stay, not just one tweet which will come now and will disappear in 10 seconds. And last but not the least, do not sleep even one night without writing some greatness about India. Fill this universe with the great civilizations, great values. That is the only way we can win this war, because in the end only truth prevails. Satyamev Jayate. धन्यवाद. नमस्कार. जय हिंद.